to know. I mean, to see that you develop training calendars for your clients, that's a whole lot of things to do there. Thank you so much,
Oh,
Technology. Yeah, over to you, Mr. Adewumi. I have a question for you. Now, so I want to ask you, so as the founder of Next Gen AI Hub, I want to know your thought on the strategies that can help Nigerian startups and enterprises overcome barriers to AI adoption, especially considering our limited resources. I'd like to get your thoughts on that, Mr. Dewumi.
Oh, thank you
Did
so
you
much.
get my
Thank you so
question?
much.
Yes, did you get my
Yes,
question?
I do. I do. Thank you so
That's
much. Now,
okay.
we understand that part of the constraint and the barrier that startups have nowadays are fundings. They don't have access to fundings and some resources. And that's been a constraint to many startups, the majority of startups we have in Nigeria. And it has served as a limitation to startups. Now, I would encourage startups to have, thank God for Amazon Web Server, and now they are giving credits to startups now to use their cloud platforms. Now, as a startup that wants to leverage on artificial intelligence or probably wants to be on the spotlight, I would encourage startups to start using open source AI tools and cloud-based platforms. Now, what are open source AI tools? What are open source rather? Open source are softwares that can be used by anybody without any cost. So if we understand that we can all use open source tools, AI tools, to implement or to integrate it into our startups, it would go a long way in projecting ourselves. And we should also think of using cloud-based platforms. And that is how startups can begin to use, because most of us are not new or probably we don't understand that there are concepts like this or there are platforms like this that we can leverage on. But when we begin to use open source AI tools and one more thing is there are branches of AI that I would begin to explain. We have the generative AI, which we are all very conversant with. We have the machine learning, we have the NLP, the natural processing language, and we have the expert system, we have the computer vision, and so on and so forth. We have the robotics, which we're all conversant with also. If we can leverage on open source AI tools that falls into this branch of artificial intelligence, we can begin to project ourselves or work on our startups. That will go a long way. That's number two. I think that if we can begin to train, and like I said earlier before now, I said there's a rumor that AI has come to take jobs or has come to replace humans in every field or in every career. In every career, I think there are AI, artificial intelligence platforms that can help make us productive or efficient. Now, when we begin to train our staffs, or our staffs on AI platforms, this will make them so effective and make sure it helps them and boost their productivity. So it's very much important that we begin to help or train staffs in using AI platforms and making them understand the essence and the implementations of all these AI platforms. I think this would go a long way by making sure this Nigerian economy is being boosted. Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. Good to hear that we need. I think I heard you when you said that we need to utilize the open AI source, which is very important, and also do not get ourselves in the misconception that AI has come to take the jobs of people. And I think that's very profound because a lot of persons think that if we adopt the AI, there's no job for me. So I think that misconception is very clear. And also we need to understand that when we introduce that, it's not just taking our jobs, rather it's helping us improve in our productivity. And I feel that's what we need to project. Thank you so much for doing that. Again, would you mind if I ask you just one last question for me? So how does building, to you, Mr. Deniji, how does building a community around AI skills benefit Lagos digital economy? Can we just look at some impacts of collaborative learning and mentorship?
Oh, okay. Thank you
study?
so much.
Okay,
Thank you so
fine.
much. Okay, so
all right.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you
Hear
clearly.
you.
Okay, so a community driven on AI helps to make ready talents that will be plunged into the Lagos tech ecosystem. Now, if there's a community that leverages on AI, that teaches and have hands-on training and workshops and webinars or shares online resources on artificial intelligence, this makes talents ready to plunge into Lagos tech ecosystem. So this, on the other hand, boosts the digital system. And number two, collaboration on innovation. I think that when there's a community that fosters on collaboration and innovation, like I said, I made mention of branches of artificial intelligence. Now we can all combine our strength together. I am an expert in machine learning. You are an expert in robotics. Someone else is an expert in evolutionary computation. Now, we can all combine our strength together and provide solutions to our everyday problem. I think this would boost our AI, the AI ecosystem in Lagos. Now, if we can all combine our strength together, this would help us. This we would begin to see emergence of technological solutions that will provide solutions to our everyday society. And also, now mentorship, this helps to accelerate learning curve. Now, when there are mentors in our communities, people, global leaders in the AI industry, this helps us accelerate technological curves. Now, we see youth that wants to leverage into or want to engage themselves into the tech industry, but they are having one way or the other barriers, one way or the other. I was talking to someone some days back. She said she needed a mentor, but she doesn't know how she can engage herself or delve into the tech space, and they needed someone to put them through. Now, there's also a rumor, a myth that we don't need mentors. We can do self-learning into the tech space. I will tell you for a fact that it is a rumor that you should not believe. We all need mentor one way or the other that would guide us through. So I think mentorship and collaboration would help the Lagos ecosystem. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dewomi. That's very succinctly said. Then over to you, Ms. Moturayo. Permit me for using the Mrs. So Moturayo, I'd like to ask you, what are the distinct challenges and opportunities in promoting AI adoption for startups versus large enterprises? So we're looking at the challenges and opportunities in promoting AI adoption for startups versus the large enterprises as we have now.
I would say, I mean, whatever challenges are there in terms of adopting AI or promoting AI would still be the kind of they're the same challenges that startups or enterprises will face when adopting any kind of technology, really, right? So for startups, and I'm just going to speak to them individually. So for startups are usually more nimble, they're more agile. There's typically not a huge staff strength, and so things are able to cascade down from top faster, right? So if the CEO says, oh, I found this new technology I want to adopt, or I want to onboard, it's easier for him to make that decision. The decision process is faster. He makes the decision. He decides that they're onboarding. They go. It's faster to adopt those kind of new technologies, in a startup, because of the scale of the business. They are not that big. Also, you find that in startups at the beginning, at the very least, when they're still startups, they usually have typically the same people that work together as are usually in the same age group. So typically you find Gen Z, millennials, they're not very far from each other. So it's easy for them to have a shared understanding of what the new technology is and immediately get into action with it, right? So from a change management perspective, from an adoption perspective, from a technological understanding perspective, it would be much easier for startups. What might be difficult will now be maybe resources, right? Startups are trying to get funding, they're trying to pay their staff, they're trying to float their product, they're trying to do marketing at the same time. Paying for license for, say, a new AI product might be a little steep, but it's something that they would eventually get to, right? So for startups, I would say the challenges would be the same as adopting any other thing, but it's easier for them to adopt from a technology understanding perspective. However, for enterprises, it's almost the opposite, because for enterprises, you now have to deal with, first of all, there's a long decision process. There's a long decision making process. Somebody finds it, let's say a technology contributor finds it moves to the CTO, or it moves to the head of department, and the department moves to CTO moves to CEO says, oh, no, 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 we don't have money, I cannot think of, and then there's a long process. Sometimes it takes a whole year to decide, okay, let's do it. And then when they start to do it, it's usually very hard to change things with legacy companies. It's an enterprise, it has many businesses. There's somebody in finance that said, I've been using this platform for 15 years, it has never failed me, I don't see why I need to change it. So pushing people to actually adopt the new product and understand it is usually harder for enterprises. It's a longer process to adopt. It's a longer process to get people to even warm up to the idea, then to now start to educate them over and over and over again. So, but for enterprises, they actually have the resources. They can afford to pay for licenses for maybe 4,000 people at the same time. It's not going to be a challenge for them. But to get those people to now actually use the product they've paid for might be a longer process than it would be for startups. I think I've answered the question, right?
Yeah, definitely. And just to speak to what you're saying, how true, right? For people on the call, for our audience on the chat right now, we have quite a number of people. Hello. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Right. So we have quite a number of people on call right now, right? And just to speak to what you say, how can our audience how can our audience listening in right now, how can they adopt AI with little or no budgets, right? Or revenue streams or allocations for that? How can they adopt AI? Because again, we're looking at implementation and impact. That's one of the agenda of this program. So how can they successfully incorporate AI into their workflow with little or no budget?
Okay, so I mean, the good thing about AI is that there's a lot of my colleague said, there's a lot of open source. If you're someone who wants you're a developer, for instance, there's a lot of open source platforms where you can get enough material, right, to do what you need to do in terms of starting as an engineer or a developer. However, it is made so easy. For instance, ChatGPT is free. Anybody can go on Google and put, same with the one from Google. I think it's called Gemini now. It's also free, at least to a certain extent. Now, if you have money, you can pay for a higher version. But at the very beginning, I believe that education is so important when there's something new. So what I do and what I advise people to do is to go and get curious about it. What is this AI safe? Let me even understand it. What I like to do is when I don't know about something, I put in the keyword and I add for dummies at the back. So if I'm looking for AI, I put AI for dummies. That way it breaks it down for me to the basest level. It would explain to you, first of all, you have an understanding of what it is. And then you can now start to use those tools, start to use the tools. If you're using ChatGPT, you want to send a text message to a friend who has lost a dad, and you are typically the person that doesn't know what to say, put it in ChatGPT and say, I lost my friend. Sorry, my friend lost their dad, and I want to know what to say. Try it out, test it out, like get comfortable with it. First of all, you can use it for your chat and sorry, for your tasks day to day, first of all, without having to pay that money, right? Without having to pay anything. And that's from an individual perspective. And it's even the same if you're leading a lean team and you don't have enough resources, you can start from using the free resources, the free tools, get everybody to understand it, vibe with it. Even WhatsApp has AI. I mean, you can just say, I want to break up with my babe. Please give me prompts, and WhatsApp will do it for you, right? So I think the first step is understanding it, being curious about it, understand it, then try it out, get comfortable with it. By the time that you're getting to the point where you need to pay for it, you have covered a lot of ground already. You would have used it for so many things, that you're already comfortable with it. And then maybe by then you'll be rich enough to pay, to pay for it at the time.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Motunrayo. And what you said is true, right? So nobody has any excuse whatsoever. We have all these resources available to us. It's now left to us to implement um, and utilize these resources. And you did give an example that sometimes organizations will go out of their way to actually make these resources available for their staffs. But at the end of the day, the staffs implementing utilizing these resources becomes a challenge. And you also gave the example of the WhatsApp AI. So many of us have it on our phone, but I don't think a lot of people use it, right?
Yes.
And that's all dwells down to education, right? Understanding the platform, understanding what it stands for. Thank you, Daudu. Daudu is giving you a thumbs up. Thank you, Daudu. If you have any question, don't forget to drop it in the chat box. And with that, I'm going to be going next to Adewumi to ask him my next set of questions. When Amaka was asking you the question on how NextGen was building strategies, or asking you on how you would advise organizations, individuals to build strategies, right, in adopting AI. There's a phrase you kept on referring to, right? We were talking about collaboration, the importance of people pulling our resources together. And yeah, it was really, really insightful, right? And I want to ask you this question, right? And for how has the partnership with Haptic and other global players influenced NextGen's AI's hub mission? And what do such partnership mean for AI in Nigeria? How does partnership foster growth in AI adoption? I think you're muted at the moment. I don't think he's hearing us. Hello, can you hear us, Mr. Adewumi? Well, I don't think he's hearing us. Okay, I would just continue with you. I think it's a network issue. For some time now, we've been having a lot of network glitches here. And
Sorry, can you hear me?
okay, we can hear you now. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, before we can see startups, before we have product or developers coming together to solve or to create a startup or probably a product, first thing first is the question that needs to be asked first: is there a problem before we can see startup or products? I'm very sure the motive or the idea behind every startup is to solve a problem. And one way or the other, if we cannot solve the problem ourselves, we need to collaborate or join hands with expertise that are ahead of us in the game to make sure we bring products or implement platforms or concepts to solve problems. And that's what we have come to do. And we understand that Nigeria has been facing customer experience problem, and we are trying to partner with global organizations. We've partnered with Aptic. They are into conversational artificial intelligence, whereby you can help companies and organizations to be very much effective in their customer experience. Now, this is giving us credibility and visibility in the AI market, and we are the original partner here in Nigeria. Aptic artificial intelligence, they are into conversational AI, and also we are trying to partner with other AI companies want to be on the radar in Nigerian tech ecosystem. We want to give ourselves, want to leverage on this partnership to make sure we boost the Nigerian tech ecosystem. Now, this is going to put next gen AI up. Now, and the beauty of it being a community is teaching and making access to all these platforms. If you are a member of Next Gen AI Hub, we want to make sure that access to all these platforms or global leaders in the AI tech space is free. Now, we are not charging anybody to learn one or two things about AI. Like you asked, my colleague rightfully said about tools and how you can leverage on AI tools for free. I will tell you, we are working on an application called Looplen. It's a LMS for Nigerian universities. And this is going to help schools in their everyday activities. We're going to, I feel it's going to boost more in their teaching process. So we're working on an app called Looplen. So all these things combined together, our partnership with global organizations in AI space would help us give us more credibility and help the Nigerian tech ecosystem. My major concern is the EdTech, which is because I believe if you do not impact this generation, it will affect the next generation. So we need to find ways or mediums to make sure it would ease. There's a problem and there's a barrier in the EdTech ecosystem. So I feel that if we can partner with companies and organizations that are ahead of us in this industry, this would give us a boost or a morale to implement more solutions and solve more problems in the Nigerian tech ecosystem. I think this has answered my question. Thank you. The question rather. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Adewumi. And we're looking forward to the deployment of Looplen, and we wish you the success. And we're looking forward to celebrating with you and the numerous accomplishments and impacts that it would make, right? Yes, so definitely education. And it seems you have such a strong passion for education, and the importance of education in AI adaptation cannot be overemphasized, right? And with that, I'll just pick up on where I was with Moturayo. She already gave such an in-depth example earlier on when she was giving talking about how organizations and individuals can implement AI, and she gave the case study of situations where organizations will actually go ahead and make the services available for their staffs, right? But then will not have the challenge of the staff using these resources. So I want to ask you, how can businesses really, how can they prepare their workforce for AI integration? We're speaking, oh, AI, get your workforce. Everybody get on AI, learn it, adopt it. I had so many, another keyword that has been so common between yourself and Adewumi is collaboration. I've also heard about how AI is an enhancer, right? So how can businesses prepare their workforce for AI integration? So at the end of the day, you're not just doing things and it's not having any conversion at the end of the day. You're muted.
Sorry. So I was saying that I think the most important thing for me, I mean, it would be in terms of preparing businesses preparing their workforce for integration. It has to begin with the continuous culture of learning. It has to be something that people are curious about, and not just curious. You need to do something about that curiosity, right, on an individual level. So let me start with this. I think that the kind of culture that a company has is going to determine how easy it is to adopt new technology. If you already have a culture that encourages people to learn, then bringing on new technology will not be hard because you would already have set the precedence. You know, your people already have a mind that is expanded. They're already interested and curious about new things, right? And so even if you don't already have that culture, it is an important thing to start if you're going to adopt AI. People have to be interested in learning about it. That's the only way that they can adopt it. That's the only way they can understand it enough to adopt it, right? And when I now say continuous culture of learning, it means that when they have even learned it enough to start, it is also important on the side of the business to create programs that enhance that learning. So, for instance, you have teams, for instance, HR, finance teams, operations teams are all teams that can easily use AI, customer experience teams, right? Let's assume you've told them that by the 6th of January 2026, we're going to start using Copilot or any other AI tool on our platform, right? And you've paid for it, but the deployment is slow, right? So you're gradually deploying. You have told these people, you've put links, and this is also where communication comes in. You should have a team that has put together everything that your bigger team needs to know. When I receive an email from internal com saying I'm going to by 6 months, or in 6 months time, you're going to be phased out of paper, for instance, we won't use paper anymore, everything is going to be digital, all our processes are digital, and you have to use AI. I'm subconsciously in my mind, every time I get that email that reminds me, and there are links in that email that says go here to learn more about this thing, go here to learn more about it, I understand what I need to do, right? I can decide that I want to be clicking on the emails every time they come in, and I can decide to block a time on my calendar where I go in depth and learn about it. So that's the first step. Now, when it is deployed, right, you also need to continue that learning. You need to continue to upskill and reskill the people that will be using the tools. You know, if I am in finance and I need to use Excel and I want to use Copilot or any other, tool for my Excel, the people that are producing, the owners of the AI software or the AI tool, are going to keep improving their own tools. They're going to, you see version 3.0, version 3.2, version 8.5, right? You cannot be stuck on version 3.0 when the owners of the tool have already reached version 10.2. So it's so important to enhance, to enable that culture as it is adopted, or as it is onboarded. There needs to be continuous learning as things are changing. There's more that needs to be learned. So businesses have a responsibility to ensure that, especially for the people that have roles that need to use these tools, they are consistently causing them to learn more, causing them to learn more about the tools, causing them to learn in more ways that they can use those tools, and then also empowering them to train the next set of people that are coming behind them, because you don't want the knowledge to phase out with them. Somebody resigns and leaves, and the person was the only person that knew how to use a tool. So you need to empower them to also train people that are coming behind them. That's the way that knowledge will be passed down, from team to team and around the business. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you just spoke about the importance of having like a tracking department or a learning and development department to actually help carry out checks to ensure that there's implementation, right? And this could actually also be carried out by the HR department. So you don't have to break the banks and, thinking on how to actualize this, right? So just a curious question. What would you say to organizations that are worried about their staffs using AI tools and think that it's making their staff lazy, or what are your thoughts about that?
That's a very interesting question, because I'll give you an example of myself. I'm in marketing, right? And when AI became a thing, I had a subordinate that I would say, please give me a draft of X and X. And he would just go to ChatGPT and get it out. Now, I always knew, because he didn't bother to edit the prompts. I would just see insert name, and I would be like, you didn't even bother to insert the name. I knew you used AI. I know you use AI for this thing. Do you understand? So initially I was anti-AI. I was like, no, you're not going to use it. You must not use AI for this thing. You must develop it by yourself. There is a likelihood that no, let me not say there's a likelihood. I think, as with any new thing, any shiny new thing, people are too excited. They want to make it the most. It's like how you get a new phone and you don't want to do anything for the next 10 days. You just want to be pressing your phone. That's how it gets with people. So when they see AI, they want to leave everything else. But I feel that as time goes on, they learn how to properly manage their tasks, their responsibilities with using AI. The truth is, as an organization, are you trying to make work faster? Are you trying to make your staff more efficient? Are you trying to make your processes more effective? If the answer is yes, you should encourage them to use it ethically, which is why it goes back to what I was saying before. Learning about it is important. You cannot demonize. As a matter of fact, when you demonize something, you make it more attractive. So you cannot demonize them. Be like, don't ever use AI. What's going to happen is that they will use it and you will not know. So you're not helping yourself. So it is important for companies. See, AI is here to stay, whether anybody likes it or not. That's what I believe, right? So the best way you can do it is to adopt it and then train them on how to use it. I don't think it's maybe there are people that would decide not to do anything, but you can easily fish them out by the time they
Yeah, definitely.
completely rely exactly on AI and they're not adding any of their personal knowledge to it. So yeah, I think it's important for organizations to train their staff to know how to use it, as opposed to banning them, in quotes, from using it.
Definitely. Again, audience was saying AI is an enhancer, like my boss always
Exactly.
puts it, right? It's not here to take over your brains. It's here to help you be more efficient and more effective at what you already do, right? When we have a question, why okay, I think this is in why be against AI at work if you care about the quality of work and the results?
Exactly.
Beats me, beats me. All right, so we'll just hear final thoughts for Mr. Adewumi. Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question. We're supposed to finish 5 o'clock because we respect everybody's time. So try to answer us in 2 minutes. Mr. Adewumi, what strategies can help Lagos nurture an innovative AI-centric workforce that's ready for global competition?
Oh, thank you so much. I've been waiting for that question. Thank you so much. Now, ever since the advent of AI, we understand that in the educational sector, there's a barrier. And I've been so observant of this barrier. Number one, there's a language barrier. Have you ever wondered those in the underserved communities, how can they have access to education? Now, most of these things are taught in English language, and most of them don't even understand English language. And they would find it difficult to understand what's been taught in schools. Now, there's a barrier. Now, if we can understand how we can solve this barrier, we will be able to implement solutions or platforms to help solve these barriers. That's number. Number two, I feel it's very much important for us to incorporate AI basics into school curriculums. Now, this would help solve some problems, because if we do not do this, this would, at the long run, affect our generation. Now, this creates an AI-aware generation. If we start creating, and this has been in existence, if I'm not mistaken, the organizations, as a last year, I have a foundation called Tech and Trenches. We go about to the slums to teach them tech programs for free. And we've been able to touch one or two communities last year. And we understand that it has been in existence. There are some organizations, some companies, private sectors that teach some schools drone engineering, robotics. Now we understand that. But however, this is not circulating. Lagos as a whole, we understand it has a larger population than every state in Nigeria. This is not circulating. Now, how about those in the underserved communities? They are not having access to this AI platform. So if we start implementing AI basics into schools, now into their curriculum for free, without even having to charge them, at the end of the day, we are solving this gap. There's a bridge somewhere, so we are solving this gap. So let us start by making sure we incorporate AI curriculum, AI basics into their school curriculum. And how can we do that? We need the help of some private sectors. Private sectors need to collaborate with school institutions, schools. Now, we would want to teach your students now in schools for this basics. I'm very sure that they teach them theoretical knowledge about artificial intelligence. And this is not enough for them to go into society, into the workforce and implement AI and work on AI. Now, that's where the private sector comes into play. Now, private sector needs to collaborate with institutions or schools to teach them pragmatic approach, hands-on training, real-time experience about artificial intelligence. Now, this helps to expand their knowledge and their expertise in AI. Now, that's very much important. If we do not do that, we are not bridging this gap. I think it's very much important that we collaborate with institutions. And also, like I said earlier on, I want to commend Dr. Bosun Tijani, National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. It is a wonderful initiative, And the three MTTs, now where we have interns and individuals from different backgrounds coming together to learn IT programs, is very much, that's a commendable initiative. But however, this is not touching the grassroots. There are lots of Nigerians out there. There are lots of Lagosians out there. They are not tapping into these resources. So I think the government needs to create policies, supporting policies and incentives or grants to companies, organizations that are investing much more into artificial intelligence training. This will, at the long run, upscale them. Because if you have grassroots or in companies that are into AI trainings, and the government is creating supporting policies and enabling environment for companies like this, AI will thrive in Nigeria. AI will thrive in Lagos, and this eventually, one way or the other, boost our economy in Lagos. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Adewumi. And the word you said, incorporate AI into our educational scheme. And the take-home word for today is collaboration, right? The government, individuals, organizations, all coming together, right, in one accord to channel this tax, this challenge, this opportunity that has come, because it's all in one package, right, that has come to us, right? And with that, I want to thank again the organizers of the Art of Technology Lagos. The Art of Technology AOT is a Lagos State-powered tech conference, and it will be taking place on the 5th of December 2024. And we will have policy makers, we'll have experts of industries, we'll have startups, we have businessmen and women all come for that conference. Come, what are your pain points? What are the things you're happy about? Technology advancement. Come and let your voice be heard, right? So be a part of it. Go to www.aot.com, register today to secure your seats, right? And Thank you. It's such an honor to be here today to moderate this session with my beautiful Amaka, my co-host. It's really
Thank you
been
so much.
really a pleasure being with you, and also the beautiful Motunrayo Ayo. Thank you so much for being here. Your thoughts has really been impactful, and of course, Adewumi, thank you. Looking forward to look clean, look look clean, right? Look clean. Look clean. It's
Look
look
like
clean. Yeah, look clean. We're looking up to look clean
Yes,
LMS,
looking.
right? Yeah, and celebrating its impact. Thank you. Who is laughing at me? Oh, Sunny Deborah is laughing at me. Okay. Thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure. Until we'll come your way. The next session will be on Saturday, 7 p.m. Right? So until we come your way next time, be collaborative. Thank you, everybody.
thank you.
Thank you, Amaka. Amaka, do
Just
you have anything to say in closing?
Oh, yes, in fact, it has been very enlightening, I tell you the truth, because I'm going away with having to understand that continuous education is very key for us to promote AI and also to incorporate in our educational system. It is very key. We need to catch them young. We need to expose these young ones to AI at a very, very young age. And also, the misconception about AI taking over the jobs of other people should be taken out. It's coming to enhance your job and not to take away your job. So we need more fear. So I think I want to say parabale for those people who think that your job is taking away. Don't be scared. It's just here to help you be more productive and all
Yeah,
of that. Thank you,
definitely. Can we
Motivator.
just
Thank
hear,
you.
thank you. Can we hear one parting word from Motirayo and then Adewumi and then call it a day?
I mean, I think you both have rounded it up really nicely. I would say keep learning, stay curious about it. Make sure that you look forward to the new developments and align yourself with it. If you're trying not to be kicked out of a system, the best way to do that is to make yourself invaluable to that system. So be an expert at AI instead of worrying about it taking your job. Understand it, so that you're the go-to person when they need AI implementation. Yeah, that's
All
all I
right.
have.
And then Mr. Adewumi, you're muted at the moment.
Your parting word, Mr. Dewumi.
Okay, so I think it's having some sort of technical challenge. Anyways,
Okay,
okay,
I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
it's back. No problem.
So my passing key takeaway is that we need to leverage more on artificial intelligence platforms. One thing that I've very observed about Nigerian youth now is if you check statistics, we youth are the major users of internet in Nigeria. And if you do not use it judiciously, we will not be able to learn one or two things in our country. So it's very much important. We do research, we do a little bit of study. This creates an experience and an environment for us as individuals also. So I would beseech youth out there, it's very much important to take out time to study, do a little research, this bit of research, and do a little bit of study. This creates this enabling environment for it, puts you on the spotlight. It makes you want to be more adventurous and learn one or two things. So it's very much important. Yeah, I'm sorry, Motsu was saying something about using AI at the place of work. Have you ever wondered that there's an AI that can detect that a write-up is being written by an AI? I came across that, I was just laughing. So it's very much funny. You can detect that a write-up is written by an AI.
Yeah, but you know
So
that
it's
that
very much
actually
funny.
takes us into the conversation about bias and inclusion because an American, when they see a Nigerian write up, they would think it's AI that wrote it because Nigerians are very flowery with their words. We say words like superfluous, we say words like bogus in our vocabulary. So when you ask AI in America that they are used to very simple English to detect if AI wrote this, and I've seen many cases of people saying their dissertations were wrongly accused of being done by AI when they are just Nigerians that like English. Do you understand? So, I mean, that's another conversation entirely. But I like that I like that there's that much advancement in trying to identify what is AI versus what is not.
All
Okay,
right.
but one
I
more
think
thing too.
I
Amaka,
think
sorry.
okay. I think we're going
I'm so
into
sorry
another
about that.
conversation now, but we
One
have
more
to
thing I just want to
close.
say is,
Okay.
okay.
Let me give you one more minute.
Okay, thank you so much. One more thing I just have to say is the fact that sometimes I feel, yeah, we want to be smart and very productive, so we depend more on this AI platform. However, sometimes it makes us redundant. It doesn't make us expand our thinking faculty. So I would say that it's very much important we do not rest much more on this platform. So let us stretch our brain to work on our brain. This would help us at the long run. Thank you so much.
So much, and with that we call it a day. Thank you so much. You see, our panelists are on fire, right? Thank you, everybody, and also not forgetting the people that make this really remarkable and worthwhile, the beautiful audience. Thank you for joining us today. Dowdy says use
I
AI
like
as
that.
much as you
Use
see,
your head.
as you use your head. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, that's it from us. Thank you very much. Bye.